There was a lot of rumors about the hospital being haunted.
The patients, once they came there, they usually stayed there until they passed. It was like she was still right there with me.
I seem to always get stuck in one location.
The morgue?
It was terrifying to be trapped in that dark room. It was definitely a child.
So all of a sudden, like, this puzzle went flying off the shelf. It won't hurt you.
It?
Oh my God, she's still here.
It was dead quiet. It scared the bejeebies out of me.
I was terrified.
Mary Jo Chudley works nights as a nurse aide at a dedicated cancer treatment facility.
The cancer hospital I worked with, it was a treatment center. It was not a hospital. It didn't have an ER, so it was only for treatment.
Almost finished prepping room 310.
I worked 7 at night to 7 in the morning.
You can take your break after. Pretty quiet tonight.
On that floor, there was like 4 ICU units. The patients, once they came there, they usually stayed there until they passed. It was an old hospital before they changed it into a cancer hospital. So there was always rumors that it was haunted. So it was very, very old, and a lot of nurses complained about paranormal experiences going on in that hospital. So when I was working there for about a year, nothing ever strange ever happened. Nothing paranormal ever happened there.
This changes when Mary Jo is assigned the care of a terminally ill patient.
Here, let me help you.
No, I got this. I got this.
Easy does it. Oh, I got you.
Vivian came in because she had stage 4 cancer. It was mostly to her brain.
There we go.
I just took care of her. Whenever she needed anything, I did whatever she needed me to do. If she needed anything to eat, just needed help with, going to the bathroom, going in the shower.
Let's get you tucked in here.
You're always so good to me.
Of course, you make it easy.
Thank you.
Okay. Will you press that call button if you need anything, and I'll be here, okay?
Thank you.
See you soon.
When I would come into work, I would do my vitals and everything, and then I would always go in there and see how she was doing. I used to bring her a video to watch.
Look what I found at the local library.
Oh, you didn't.
You should come play hooky with me and watch this. You'd love it.
You are trying to get me in trouble.
I would never do that. But maybe just bring the popcorn.
She liked games, and she had this one favorite puzzle, which she always wanted to play with.
Oh, look at you. You work on that corner. I'm trying to beat my record of under an hour.
When she first came to our center, she was the sweetest lady under the sun. She didn't have any family. She never talked about family.
As Mary Jo's patient edges closer to death, there are frightening changes in her behavior.
You could tell she was depressed because she knew she was dying. Vivian would be aggressive, like really aggressive. She would grab our hands, she would, push us away.
Vivian?
Why am I here? Who brought all this stuff in here? I want to go home.
Okay.
A couple times I walked in and she threw stuff at me, like the remote, and she would have stuff on the sides of her bed. She would just take it and just chuck it at me.
We're gonna do this together.
No!
Cleaned up.
You're gonna just fix it all with a Band-Aid?
Come on, get some rest. You'll feel better.
I would just pick it up and say, "I love you, Vivian." I would put it on the table and I would walk out. Because I knew that wasn't her. She wasn't doing that. It was the cancer that was making her do this stuff.
I love you, Vivian. Get some rest.
She stopped talking altogether, but she would just moan. She constantly moaned.
All right, Vivian, we're gonna give you some oxygen. Here you go.
Vivian had to now have oxygen because she was having trouble breathing. Her O2 was really low.
Take deep breaths. That's really good. You're doing great.
Do you want to give her a little more there?
Every day it had to go a little bit higher and a little bit higher.
It's okay. You're gonna feel better in just a moment.
You're not alone. We're here for you, okay?
Is that better?
One day I went into work and the nurse told me that, she's doing really bad.
Vivian, how are you doing? Vivian, can you hear me? Squeeze my hand if you can hear me.
I went and checked on her. She wasn't really responding to anything I was saying or doing, and she really wasn't moving at all. Just a lot of moaning. So then I went to go on my break. About 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, that's usually when we have our breaks. So all of a sudden, this puzzle went flying off the shelf. And it wasn't a small, fall. It was, and it went flying. And then I realized the puzzle and what puzzle it was. It was Vivian's favorite puzzle.
Vivian.
I knew that was her telling me, "You need to come. I need you in my room." I stayed in that room until she passed. I sat next to her bed and I just grabbed her hand and was just holding it like this. Her hands were cold and they were sweaty, but I just sat there and held her to let her know that I was there. Then she took one last breath. And when she did, it was this weird energy, and I've been around many people that have died, and for some reason with her, it felt like this big electrical charge all around me. My hair stuck up, and I'm just sitting there what is going on? And I'm waiting to see that second breath, and nothing. But that energy in that room was still there. I got the worst chills ever. I've never felt that kind of energy when somebody passed. I'm getting the chills to even think about it. It was so intense. I've never had that ever happen before. It was like she was still right there with me.
There are many reports from palliative care facilities of paranormal occurrences happening around those who are about to die. The men and women who work in palliative end-of-life care are the closest thing to angels on this earth. And they will often form bonds with patients, bonds that will be broken when that patient dies.
I come in the next day, which was strange when I walked in to see her room because she's been there for months and she's not in that bed anymore.
Mary Jo continues with her nightly routine, but it soon becomes clear that something is very wrong.
So when I was working on the computer, Vivian's call light goes off. And I'm looking over like, okay, the room's empty, she's not in there anymore, why is the bell going off?
As Mary Jo approaches the room, she makes a surprising discovery.
We usually have towels already set up for the next patient. They were all thrown on the floor. I literally was just in that room. There is no way that nobody could have went in there. That moment just put a shiver right up my spine. Sit back down the computer. The computer starts to act up. It just started going haywire. And all of a sudden, the computer just went black.
Mary Jo can't shake the feeling that these strange occurrences might have something to do with Vivian.
I was so hesitant to go in that room. When I was walking down the hall, I could hear this sound, and right away, I knew it was the oxygen. I knew it was on. It is extremely loud, like air coming out of a tire. When I walked in her room, I saw the call bell light going off. It made no sense that that oxygen was on. I could see the light on the wall that's blinking that I have to turn. I know she's not there, and I could still smell her. I've noticed when patients have cancer, when they're in their stage 4, their very last months, they have this odor. And I don't know why, and every nurse that I've worked with said the same thing, this smell of death. It's something you'll never forget once you smell it once. It's just this ungodly smell. I felt very uneasy after that. It was like, oh my God, she's still here. She's still here. It was Vivian.
Vivian?
The moan started and it got louder, so I knew she was closer to me.
Vivian, are you here? feel you.
I feel like sometimes they don't know they died. Maybe because the cancer in her brain, like, you know, how you are in life is how you are in death, but she was a good person, but at the end she didn't know what was going on. So I felt if I can talk to her, it will help her move on and not stay there because she didn't know she died.
Vivian, are you here?
I really wanted her not to be stuck there and wanted her to move on and just to her to realize that she's passed. I had a little talk with her and said, hey, listen, you need to go. You are not here anymore.
Vivian, you passed on. Look, you're not here. Your body's not here.
You're not in pain. You don't have cancer anymore. Go be free, you know. And as weird as it sounds, like you're an angel. Just go.
You're free to go. You don't have cancer anymore. You're not in pain. Vivian, you can go.
And then after I said that to her and told her that she was an angel, I just felt this whole warmth. And it's nothing I've ever felt. It's just like, people say like they see heaven when they die. It was like I felt heaven. It was just warmth and love, and it was like she was trying to tell me thank you.
Mary Jo, you're heading home already? Mary Jo?
And I'm like hysterically crying, but it wasn't me who was crying. I felt like that was her pain. It wasn't my pain. Like I was experiencing what she was experiencing, and the crying was from her. It wasn't from me.
I just saw you leave. You came out of a patient room and walked down the hallway.
No, I've been in the room the whole time. That wasn't me.
I came out of the room, and the nurse is like, I thought you came out of that room already. And I'm like, no, the door was closed. How can I come out of the room? And she says, no, I saw you walk out of that room just a couple minutes ago. I'm like, no, you didn't. The door was closed. And then the nurse realized, oh my God. So she basically saw Vivian walk out of that room. I truly believe I helped Vivian move on. I was there after Vivian died, about 4 to 5 months. Just seen a lot of death, and I couldn't handle it. I don't work directly with death anymore.
It's near midnight, and after a shift change at the local hospital, a rookie nurse begins her rounds. It's the start of a night Sandy Bolton will never forget.
How are you feeling, Mrs. Sherman?
I'm feeling better.
Good.
I was working on a cardiac unit, and as a brand new nurse, I took every shift that I could get. So I was working the midnight shift. So that would be from 11 to 7 in the morning.
Let's get you settled.
My father died of cancer. So that led me to want to help other people and be there for them.
There you go.
We shut off all the lights at night, so it makes it easier for the patients to sleep. They were doing a lot of renovations, and our unit was the last to be done. When I started my shift, there was a very weird vibe. It just didn't feel right. There was a lot of rumors about the hospital being haunted, especially the west side, which is where I was working, but I wasn't really focused on that at all. I was focused on my job.
How's Mrs. Sherman?
She went back to sleep right away.
Oh, that's good.
That night I was working with another female nurse.
Ready to review the reports on the remaining patients?
Yes.
Great.
She had a lot more experience than I did, so we made a good team.
Okay. So Mr. Chan is going to need blood work tomorrow.
Should I get started on the requisition now and then?
Myself and the other nurse were going through the day's report when we started hearing an infant crying.
I think maybe one of the older patients needs something.
I didn't know whether it was one of the patients. Sometimes, because they were mainly elderly, sometimes a crying patient can sound weird.
No, that's not one of ours. Come on, we'll start our rounds early tonight.
We do rounds 3 times, 4 times in the nighttime, but we decided to do the rounds early just to see what was going on.
You check that side, I'll check this one, okay?
So we started at one end and went through the whole unit. And all of our patients were sleeping quietly, and no one was awake.
Well, everyone's asleep.
Sure looks that way. Let's head back to the station.
That's Mrs. Sherman.
We both rushed to see what was going on.
Mrs. Sherman, what's wrong?
There was a man in my room staring down at me.
And the lady said to us that she had seen someone staring down at her.
It's okay. We were just outside your room. No one is here.
It was just a bad dream, okay?
First a baby crying, and then this.
The patient described to us that she had heard an infant crying, which was what we were hearing that night, too. We realized that it was not dementia. This lady had her faculties. I mean, she was genuinely scared.
I'll come back to check up on you again, okay?
Okay.
You're okay.
Okay.
What do you make of all this?
She just had a nightmare is all. Oh, that's weird.
I look to my right, down the hall, and I see a tall figure.
Look.
So we were both seeing it. It wasn't just me.
Sandy sees the indistinct figure of a man in what looks to be a white coat. Could be a doctor, could be a laboratory technician. It's impossible to say for sure. What we can say is that this is the figure of someone who used to walk these hallways during his lifetime and does so after his death.
He was walking forward. It was as if he belonged there, like as if this is my place. He was very sure of himself.
Excuse me, doctor. Can we help you?
There shouldn't be anybody in the ward except us.
What do we do?
We check the room.
Myself and my coworker were terrified because no one was supposed to be there. We were both going to go and investigate and ensure that our patients were safe.
Let's look under the beds, okay?
There was no one under the beds, so the bathroom was the last place to check. We were just so anxious. We thought someone's got to be hiding in there. We counted to 3 before we opened up the bathroom door.
1, 2, 3.
There was nothing in there.
What is going on?
Let's just get back to the station.
We went back to the nursing station and went back to our work.
You cold too?
Yeah, must be the heating.
About 3 o'clock, it just started becoming very, very chilly.
Do you have something to put on?
Not here. I'll have to run to the lounge to grab my sweater.
Okay.
I'll be back in a sec.
Okay.
So I went down to the lounge. The lights were on, and I entered the room. The lights started flickering. I got nervous. It felt weird. I just kept telling myself that it's just the old part of the building, and all the electricity's not working properly.
It's just an old building. It's just an old building. It's just an old building.
I was walking out of the lounge. My skin was crawling. I felt goosebumps. Someone or something grabbed me. I was terrified. I ran. I ran all the way down the hall to my coworker.
Sandy, you're gonna wake the patients. You look like you've seen a ghost.
And she could see by the look on my face that something was not right.
I was leaving the lounge and someone grabbed my shoulder.
Sandy, look at me. You're gonna be okay. It won't hurt you.
It? What?
Come on. I'll explain. Come on.
She actually told me it's happened before, so don't get really scared because no one's really been hurt.
If you know something, you need to tell me now.
I've felt it too. A presence. Before this was the cardiology wing, it used to be the obstetrics ward. And rumor has it that a doctor died here one night. Some people think he's still here.
What? Why didn't you tell me this before?
Because you don't have to worry about it. He's never hurt anybody.
I don't think I could do this.
Just drink your tea. We're safe here.
It started getting really cold.
I'm still cold.
You could grab a blanket from over there.
I even grabbed one of the blankets and put it on me because it was frigid. And all of a sudden, the charts from the side of us just came flying. I just started freaking out. I was so terrified.
Stop! Make it stop, please!
Just terrified. We both screamed. We yelled like children. How do you explain that? How do you explain that you've seen something and yet there's no one? Nothing?
It's easy to misinterpret the actions of some frustrated, aggressive spirits as being attempts to harm us, when sometimes they are reaching out with the only means at their disposal. They're frustrated, so they throw things, they make noises, they yell, they scratch, all in an attempt to tell us that they are still here.
The next day, I spoke to my manager. I never wanted to work on that unit again. I've just never been that afraid.
It's Friday night, but instead of hanging out with her friends, teenager Denise Burrows is working the night shift.
Thanks, Denise.
My position in the hospital was transportation. If they needed stretchers picked up and certain things or wheelchairs collected, we would do that. But my primary responsibility was mainly moving patients in and out and throughout the hospital.
I'll take it from here. They're done prepping Miss Lee's room, so if you want to go up to PACU and pick her up.
Okay, thanks.
And check her wrist ID this time, make sure we have the right patient.
Yes, right, I will.
Right after that, if you just want to head over to Emerge, they're prepping a body for you.
The morgue? Again?
This is a hospital, Denise. Oh, you're forgetting something.
I seem to always get stuck in one location in particular where they would send me, and that was usually the morgue. There was a policy that when you did this position, you should usually do it with another person, simply because of the weight of the stretcher. However, there was always shortage of staff, especially on the Friday and Saturday shifts.
A short-staffed hospital often means working alone, so it's a rare chance for some fun when Denise has a coworker to accompany her.
This was probably the once and only time I can actually get somebody to go with me as long as I wasn't going to the morgue. We were just taking the wheelchairs from one location to the other. And there was that closet space. And it was no more than maybe 10 more steps where the morgue was at the time.
It's really creepy in here. Let's put these chairs away and get out of here.
We had walked in to make room, and that's when that door decided to close. The door slammed shut all the way.
No way. The door is locked. Hey! Who locked the door? Let us out!
What's going on? Open the door already.
I can't. It's locked from the outside.
It was pitch black in there. We really couldn't see each other too well.
Hey! Who closed the door?
It was terrifying to be trapped in that dark room. There was no one around ever in that hallway. It was just a miracle that somebody actually walked by.
What the hell is going on in here? We're short-staffed upstairs.
The door, it closed and it locked.
Okay, well, get back to work.
Pretty much got accused of playing around in the hospital, but we weren't. They couldn't figure out how we got locked in there.
But Denise has little time to recover from her ordeal before she's hit with another unenviable task.
Hey, Denise. Could you head up to 705? They've got a body ready for you to take to the morgue.
Can it wait till Josie comes back?
Let's not keep them waiting, yeah?
There was nobody else to go down, and so it was my responsibility to take this patient from the floor and bring them down to the morgue. As the elevator was making its way down, it suddenly stopped. There had been times before where the elevators would get hung up, and sometimes you would get caught between floors. I'm in here and getting a little apprehensive about what's going on. They were sending maintenance to where I was, but by the time anybody got there, the elevator started to move on its own. It was kind of just eerie, you know, it was a very sad place to be. It was very cold. I was able to see my breath. The temperature went from one extreme to the other very quickly. It was definitely a child. The door didn't want to open, and I kind of panicked for a second because I thought I was stuck in the morgue. There was nobody else around. It was dead quiet. It scared the bejeebies out of me.
There are many accounts of morgues being haunted, which makes complete sense when you consider the sheer volume of dead bodies that are moved in and out of those locations, usually in hospital basements. What happens to the spirits of the newly deceased? Some move on to the next life, but others seem to linger, unwilling or uncertain of how they can move on.
It's a new shift, but Denise can't forget what she saw the night before.
Whatever this was, it wanted me to see it. I made sure I had a key, and I went down there. And I hesitated for a second, but I went ahead and I opened it, and I went in. I felt fear, but I also felt other feelings. I just felt like I needed to go back in there. I took the sheet and I uncovered the bed. And when I did, I identified exactly what I saw the night before that was in that full body apparition. And when I looked in the bed, I noticed a blanket, and the blanket was down towards her feet. At that moment, I got a very overwhelming feeling of emotion. I was very sad. It really just hit home. And I just felt very compelled to reach in and to take my hand and to pull that blanket up over her.
Many kids have a security blanket. It is their shield against all the scary things of this world, particularly strangers, things to fear. That blanket was the little girl's protection against the bad things, and she clings to it even in death.
There was a sense of peace knowing that I had done the right thing by covering her, and I think that might have been what she wanted all along. Cold, cover me, and that's exactly what I did. I, without a doubt, felt that that was the beginning of something else for me, because I had always been very sensitive, able to pick up on people's feelings, able to just be more in tune than maybe the average person. For me, it was a very eye-opening experience, but it was something that I almost felt like I needed to experience. It was the beginning of something else for me.